Let's just pull it up real quick and see if there's any in there yet.
Look at that.
That's a pretty good haul right there.
That's a ball of them.
This week on Kentucky Afield, we're turning crawfish into bass on Noland Lake.
There we go, spotted bass.
Next, we'll stop by a fishing derby and see what's being caught, aside from fun, that is. Then, we're tagging along with Fisheries Biologist as they sink structure on Barren River Lake.
This project will help put anglers in contact with those fish.
It's all next on Kentucky Afield.
Such a pretty fish.
Beautiful.
This pond is plumb loaded with frogs.
They're everywhere in here. Yeah, this is a good fish right here. Really good fish.
Come here, girl.
Yeah, boy. That's a big rabbit.
Nice job. Yes! Yes! My first muskie. Mercy Leo!
Yeah, look at it. It's a keeper.
Here it goes. Boom! Wow, that happened fast. Hello, and welcome to Kentucky Afield. I'm your host, Chad Miles. Join us as we journey the Commonwealth in search of outdoor adventure. When summertime temperatures warm up, catching a bass during the daylight hours can sometimes be tough. But one surefire way to get a fish's attention is using a live crayfish. So this creek looks a little deeper than what we're used to, but today we're doing something that really reminds me of our childhood. This is how we learned how to catch bass.
It is. We would go bass fishing and we'd get up and get our burlap bag, our creek crawling shoes, some old shorts, and go try and get us 30 to 40 crayfish to bass fish with.
We're gonna take a seine and a little net and go through, and like I say, we want 15 or 20. This is a really, really good way to pick up probably a bass' favorite food source. If you can come in here and get you a bucket full of these, it's pretty simple after that. It's a hook and a split shot. Let's grab our seine and get after it.
Let's go see what we can round up.
I'll tell you what, let's put a little bit of water in this bucket. I got a bag here that we're gonna put crayfish in. Just give me about 2 inches of water in there, or less. Oh man, that feels great.
Yeah, it can almost be a little cooler.
All right, let's just pull it up real quick, see if there's any in there yet. Oh, bluegill. Too bad we're not catfishing today. That would be the ultimate piece of bait right there. It's your lucky day, buddy. I think sometimes if I can get up in here, scare them that way, this is how you really get bunches of them. All right, try it again. There we go. Got about 10. And every one of those are the size we're looking for. One more pass like that and we'll pretty much have what we need.
I think with the first little couple passes, we were in too deep of water. You got to find that perfect mix where them crayfish like to get. That was a good run there. Oh, I seen them swimming in there, a couple of them.
Y'all pick it up.
Look at that.
That's a pretty good haul right
That's
there.
a ball of them.
I tell you, there's a million different ways you can do this. If you get in an area that's really, really rocky and you can spot them and see them, but you can't drag a seine, I just take a butterfly net and poke right in front of them and they'll swim right into the net. Of course, you can always hand grab them. Let's get these things in the cooler, make sure that they're not fully submerged and they can crawl up this burlap and get them to the lake. What do you think?
Well, we've done the work. Now time to see if we can hold up on our end of the deal and catch some fish.
That's right. We're down here at Noland Lake. We decided to fish this lake because we know where there's some rocks that should be perfect for using these crayfish. Last night what we did is we got a cooler that had about an inch of water in it, and we just draped this top end over the top of the cooler so that they can crawl up out of the water. If you leave them submerged in the water the whole night, they will die, so you don't want to do that. So now I'm going to show you how we're rigging this. We're going to use a 1/0 circle hook and then an 1/8 ounce split shot. We're just going to tie this on.
Is our lucky little winner of the day.
We'll tail hook these kind of right in the middle. You don't want it to hang way out because you can almost make it weedless. Now when that thing hits the water, it's going to take off swimming. So when this thing settles in on the bottom, it's got some free range to move around. And then if he decides to go into his natural motion, and that is to hide under a rock, you need to be able to just pick him up out of the rock and let him drift back down. Here we go, got one running right now.
Let me get the net.
I don't think he's that big. Maybe bigger than I thought. Might want to grab the net. Yeah, look at there. Oh, big shot. It's a nice bass right there. Try to let that thing settle in down there around that rock, and I just pick it up, let my crayfish swim back down. Pick it up, let that crayfish swim back down. He just picked it up, never felt him hit it, just saw him run with it. Very, very typical. Now this is a pretty decent bass for Noland. Noland's known for a lot of numbers, but really when you start catching 3, 4 pounders, there's a bunch in here, you gotta work through a lot of numbers to get there. But there you go.
Nice fish. There's a fish right there. Oh. I mean, he was all over it. Cast right back over there, Chad.
Like a spot. There we go, spotted bass. Look how pretty. Like I say, hooked right up into the roof of the mouth again.
That was my fish, Chad.
I think this fish did. See that right there, Brian? That's your crawfish.
Yep, right there.
I think he hit your line first, didn't he?
Yep.
I tell you what, that is a size spot that's really good for the dinner table. Get this one back.
Yes, they are. This is a good fish.
There you go. Now, settle down there, would you? There you go, Brian. It's a good fish right there. You got yourself a 2.5 pounder or so there, probably 18-inch fish, maybe even a little better.
Beautiful markings and nice, healthy bass.
Right on the bank. That's a natural spot for these bass to be. Typically, we'll catch them out on the deep rocks, but the water's rising, the fish have moved to the bank, and that's a natural spot for crayfish to be hanging out, is in that shallow water.
There's another one running with it right now.
Is that a good fish?
About like the last one, I think.
Get the net. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
That fish must have had that and just spit it out. There you go. That's exactly why I use a circle hook. Look where that hook is at. Right in the corner. Nice and easy to pop that hook right out, and doesn't hurt that fish at all. That's why I use crayfish. You can catch everything. I've caught catfish, bass, I've even caught crappie on accident. Just about everything we eat a crayfish.
Yeah, it seems like every one we've caught today, they hit it and you hardly know it, but they come swimming right at you.
You really gotta watch your line.
You gotta keep it taut. That's when you know you got a good soul right there. Butterfly just hangs out on you.
Here we go. What is that? Look at there. warmouth. Tell you what, we talked about earlier, that's 3 species of fish now we've caught on these crawfish. If you're a bass fisherman and you throw a jig very much, you will catch one of these. And a jig is imitating a crawfish, so you know that these things feed on crawfish quite often. You really got to make sure that if you're going to just leave this burlap bag up on the deck of your boat, that about every 20 minutes or so, just dip it in there and get it wet and just set it back up there. That'll keep those crayfish alive for a very, very long time. Well, Brian, we don't get out and do this enough. To go out and just give whatever Mother Nature provides you and take it fishing, there's something really cool about that.
I think it's all part of the experience. It's always good to get out with your brother and spend some quality time, and it brings back a lot of memories, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good time. As a lover of the outdoors, nothing warms my heart more than seeing someone experience the joy of catching a fish.
This is the Handicap Fishing Derby, Campbell County Game and Fish stocked fish for today's event. I believe this is the 43rd year, if I'm not mistaken.
To my knowledge, we've been involved in this event every one of those years. And speaking from experience, growing up out here, I've been involved in this every year, and it's been really just a joy to see this event happen every year, both from being a young child, just witnessing it, and then also being part of this organization to be able to host it. It means a lot. I can tell you it's probably one of the events that we look forward to the most. It's just a privilege to be involved in an event like this.
They've been catching a ton of fish today. I've been seeing catfish, trout, bluegill, so it's been a pretty neat event so far.
We'll have anywhere from 100 to 220 people, and it seems like we have just as many people out here helping those people fish as well.
What have we got here? Look at you. Did you catch both of those? What's your name?
Ashley.
Ashley? Those are beautiful. We've done this for a long time. It's something really wonderful. It's a fishing derby, but it's also so many other things. This is a long-standing partnership with the sportsmen and the area Special Olympics, and also the Fish and Wildlife Department. We get great support from our conservation officers.
This gives us the opportunity to come in close contact with the public. A lot of times they don't see us, especially when you're working in a county that's 309 square miles. It's a great privilege to be here today. I mean, what other job can you come to and get to do this kind of public relations fishing? And I guess when you step back and you reflect on it, it's a real privilege to be able to do this.
We've been coming to this event for 5 years, supporting autism, and this is one of the events that they hold and sponsor. We enjoy it. It's a great event for the children, and that's why we're here, is for them.
Good job. I think for a lot of these folks that are here today, it hits home with them. You know, they may know someone who's challenged or handicapped that needs help to be able to fish, or just to get outdoors is a big deal. So it's pretty impressive that you get this kind of turnout for something like this, and to team up with the 5th District Federation and the Division of Wildlife and, you know, all these folks. It's impressive what they can put on in a day's time.
It's the kind of thing that sportsmen and women want to do. It's a proactive thing. It's a way of reaching out to the public and sharing the blessings, the outdoor experience that we have with some folks that don't get to enjoy this all the time. So it's very, very special to us for that reason.
We embrace and encourage all of the outdoors activities, hunting and fishing, but a lot of hunting is done by yourself. You've got to stay quiet, whereas fishing, you can sit there and have a conversation with a family member or a friend, and you're creating memories for a lifetime.
This is a fishing event for sure, but once the fishing is over, that's just the beginning of a lot of things that happen here, a lot of great things. Once the participants come up, their fish are brought up here, and each participant has their fish weighed, and biggest fish, most unusual catch, and things like that, all the way down the line.
5 fish, 5 pounds, 10 ounces.
5th District is our biggest sponsor. They are the ones who help provide the money, but we have corporate sponsors such as this year we had Cincinnati Bell who donated the money for our t-shirts.
Special Olympics is for life. So we usually start our kids at 8 years of age, but we have now started them down as young as 3, 4, 5-year-olds. We call it our young athletes group. And then they get to compete in events from 8 years of age on.
As soon as these fish are weighed, they then go to the fish cleaning station, and our club members clean all the fish for the participants, rinse them and package them so that they can be taken home for table fare. If folks elect not to have the table fare, their fish are donated and used at different club functions and things like that.
My family and I have come here for maybe 6 years or so. It's one of our favorite events that we do with my younger brother who has Down syndrome. He's 22, he absolutely loves this event. Every year we catch a few fish, and even if we don't catch a fish, he has so much fun that it is so worth it.
We have a great lunch. So I think today we fed about 130 people was my guess. Our cooks are all sportsmen and women, so we're real proud of that.
How are you? You want a hot dog?
There you go. Thank you. Welcome.
We have a prize for the most caught, and we have a prize for the largest fish caught. And sometimes they match each other, so we are separating them so everyone gets a chance to win.
We've come up with different prizes every year. The kids are given trophies, fishing poles, tackle boxes, other kind of prizes are given out to each individual kid.
It's been real special, especially for my daughter. She caught her some fish and got as excited as a kid can get just about, and she just had a blast, and I believe all the kids have had a blast.
It's just a family event. The families come every year because they love being able to get out and be with their child. We had all the different fishing groups out here, and they just help our kids tremendously. They just make it a very special day.
We're just really proud to have this event every year, and it really enriches us. We get as much out of this as the participants do. It's just a great way to give back.
My family has decided that no matter what it takes, we're going to keep going until we can't go anymore. Every year we have things that are donated to us, and we have a raffle that raffle money will go into next year's funds. Just anything we can do to raise money to carry on. That's what we're going to do.
Fisheries biologists here at the Department of Fish and Wildlife are always looking for ways to improve the habitat for fish on our lakes and waterways. So we're here at Barren River State Park, and for all the boats that are driving by, they have to be wondering what in the world is going on over there. We've got so much material on the bank that your program is putting this in for fish habitat, right?
Yes, correct. This is the first phase of our large-scale Barren River Lake Habitat Project. We've got 7 phases planned for this, and this is kind of our kickoff project. We're here in Lower Peters Creek, and we got 15 or so sites picked out here, and a lot of this stuff's going to be centered around bass and crappie structure.
Commissioner and I, we're right here in your backyard at Barren River Lake. You spend a lot of time fishing this lake, don't you?
Yeah, I do, absolutely. I have for many years.
So tell me a little bit about why this project work is really important to you.
Well, with being a fishing angler here, this at one time was considered to be one of the top bass fisheries in the state. And over the past few years, I started getting reports and things from other anglers as well as fishing the lake myself, and I found that the catch rates were just not what we'd been accustomed to here. And wanting to keep that same high standard, you know, what do we need to do to improve that catch rate for our anglers as well as improve the lake overall in general? And first, one of the things that came up was habitat.
So Eric, tell me a little bit about why Barron is perfect for this fish habitat project we have going on.
You know, Barron's got a lot of good fisheries, bass, crappie, and that's principally what this project is geared towards, are those 2 fisheries. Not that they're in decline or need it, but this project will help put anglers in contact with those fish.
You guys are using some different structure this year. We've been at Cave Run Lake. We did a major project over there over 3 years. I know you were a part of that as well.
Yeah.
But this project's a little different. This lake, because Army Corps of Engineer Lake, raises significantly from summer to winter pool. How are you adjusting for that? Because that's got to be a major issue.
The bulk of our material at Cave Run was brush material, cedar trees, Without a drawdown there, we don't really have to be that much concerned with the breakdown of the material. It's still going to break down a little bit, but here with the drawdown, we've kind of adjusted and moved towards some larger trees and also some of these plastic products here.
You've got to have that habitat present for the angler to come in contact with where the fish are actually locating. When we get that good habitat on the ground and we get fish using those locations and the anglers knowing where they are, the success rate goes way up, and as well as the fish are more healthy and they have bait fish and other things have places to hide, and so that way it turns out well.
So you've been putting out structure for years. How long does it take a fisherman to locate those and start catching fish on them?
Oh, not long. I mean, those guys will come in right after us and fish it. And now whether they catch stuff, but we may come back even, you know, maybe at the tail end after we've dumped stuff and go over it, and there's fish already associated to it and found it. So it doesn't take long at all.
So a lot of the materials that I've seen here are things I've seen in the past. You know, you've got the rock and you've got these big yellow looking PVC pipe trees. And we've talked about those in the past. Now this is a little different material here. Tell me a little bit about what I'm looking at here.
This is a commercially made product. This is made by Mossback Fish Habitat. It's essentially a PVC structure. The reason we're going this route is two real reasons. One is it's really easy to assemble. We like the way these limbs come out. They provide good shade and cover. Also, just being PVC, it's going to last forever.
When the water goes down and this sets out in the sun and the rain and all the elements, this material is not going to break down like a natural cedar tree would.
That's correct.
This will last for a long time.
Yeah.
The texture on this is a little different.
Feels kind of rough, and that's built to kind of jumpstart that algae growth, and we need that to bring in bait fish to utilize these. We can bring in some of the sport fish, and that's where this angler component comes in. They can come in, find these structures, fish them, and hopefully at the end of the day, they got a little heavier bag.
Tell me a little bit about the shape of this.
They've got these V-shaped limbs in here. This reduces the snagging of lures, which, you know, I think all of us could use, that's for sure.
People go, man, this sounds like a great deal. How come you don't do this in every one of our lakes? This is a lot of work, isn't it?
It's a lot of work, and it's over many years. But you know, department people here have done a great job of deploying the structure. But we didn't just get there by that. We've had a lot of volunteer groups, a lot of local anglers, a lot of other people that have came and helped out assembling all these products, putting them all together, getting them ready to go out and be put out into the lake for all the anglers around the state that want to come here to Barren River Lake.
So as far as the locations that we're putting structure out today, these locations and what structure is actually there will all be available on the department webpage in a matter of a week or two.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're coming to Barron for the first time and you're thinking, hey, I don't know anything at all about this lake, it's a good place to start.
Oh, for sure. And these sites will be on, and then there's previous sites that we've put in. So yeah, it's a great resource.
Now let's check in and see who else has been out having fun in this week's Ones That Didn't Get Away. Patrick Parker from Sanders, Kentucky caught this super impressive, nice largemouth bass at a farm pond in Carroll County, Kentucky. Check out the size of this nice black crappie caught by Easton Walker from Cynthiana. What a fish. Check out this super impressive fish, a nice paddlefish that was caught by Alex Garrett out of Rockcastle County in Renfro Creek. Nice job. These pictures are always cool. This is the very first fish ever caught by Courtney Hall on Martins Fork Lake. This fish was caught on a worm and a sinker. Here we have Cannon, Bailey, and James, who all go to Morgan Elementary, and they went fishing with their class and caught this nice catfish from the Ohio River. Nice job. Larry Pelgan of Villa Hills, Kentucky caught this nice drum, a 25-inch fish that actually won him a all-species fishing tournament on Dale Hollow Lake. Here we have Emerson Buckles with her first deer ever. She took this deer while hunting with her dad Jason Buckles near Glendale, Kentucky. Check out this nice tom turkey that was taken by Aiden Carson, who's 13 years old and filled his turkey tags in Washington County, Kentucky. Nice job. Happy 4th of July weekend. Hopefully you found time to get outdoors and explore some of the wonderful things the state of Kentucky has to offer. And remember, Hunting and fishing on private property is a privilege. Always ask permission and thank the landowner. Until next week, I'm your host, Chad Miles, and I hope to see you in the woods or on the water. Hello, I'm Chad Miles. Did you know that when you buy a fishing license, it does more than provide summertime fun?
That's nice.
It produces millions of fish that are stocked in our waterways. It constructs new opportunities for boat ramps and public access. It provides new sustainable habitats for our native fish. It creates quality fishing opportunities close to home.
Good job.
It helps protect our home waters. And it makes for a better, more beautiful bluegrass for all that live here, including you and me. The Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources. It's more than just a fishing license.